Hey guys, it's JPie, and today I have a brief breakdown for you of the dev stream that was held earlier. This is in regards to the new upcoming patch and some of the changes that will be in there. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. They announced the Winterfest map. I will include a link in the description below if you want to check out the VOD and look at the images from the Winterfest map or anything else we will discuss. Next is EA skin variants, i.e., early access skin variants. A lot of people missed out on it. Omega was thinking about bringing them back, and they did in the form of variants of the early access skins. So it basically recolors of the early access skins. So I don't. They will probably be purchasable. You can look forward to that if you feel like you missed out on the early access skins. The hottest one that they showcased was a red early access crunch. That was the clear favorite. There's also a blue steel, which was probably the second coolest skin. Next up are a few more game oriented changes. So for example, the river bugs, they will actually be undergoing an evolution at 21 minutes. So each color gains a bonus property, more health, more damage, and it's a pretty cool change in my opinion. Since river bugs are no longer going to be one shot, it might make those areas more dangerous in the mid to late game. I'll go over the changes of what color gets what bonus. So gray buff, normally a move speed bonus. The evolved version gets additional out of combat movement speed. So you're going to be zooming even more. Green buff, originally just giving you shield. Now the evolved version gives you even more shield, and it explodes when it gets depleted for damage in an AoE. Pink buff originally just gives ability damage. Now the evolved version gives additional ability damage and ability haste, i.e. cooldown reduction. The orange buff, which originally provides attack speed, the evolved version provides more attack speed and omnivamp. So these kinds of river buff changes they mentioned could be more strategic. You know, you want to give the orange to the carry, pink to the mid laner, green to your initiator, etc. Maybe give the assassin the gray buff so they could chase down targets. But that's not all regarding the buffs. Oh no. There's more. Let's move on to mini prime and big prime. Now, these two buffs will receive a change in themselves. If you have the prime buff, your recall speed doubles. So that's a pretty interesting change that they made. And I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I kind of feel like it makes sneaking or prime a bit more viable because you can just get your back teleport time cut in half. So it's harder to catch people out. Mini prime having that, the mini prime buff also having that is quite cool. And last but not least, regarding the buff changes, you can now steal buffs upon killing an enemy with it. The only buffs that don't apply are mini prime and or prime buff. So if an enemy has a red buff, a blue buff, green buff, gray buff, orange, whatever, if you kill the enemy, you steal the buff and you have it for a decent amount of time. There are also changes to the Fang Pit and Orb Prime Pit. Basically, the inner ring that was elevated around the outer edge that usually ranged characters would stand on, that is removed. So there's more space within the pits themselves. Additionally, they also made some wall of the pit a half wall, offering more opportunities for characters to jump in. So they wanted to increase the amount of entryways into the pits because they felt like it was too choked. So that's, I think, going to be a good change. Moving on to the next change is the velocity of basic shots for carries or ranged characters. They made it 3 times faster, so as opposed to leading targets, now you'll be aiming at them more directly. And they weren't in the dev stream, they weren't perfectly clear if this also applied to some other abilities, but they didn't mention basic shots. So I think that's going to be a change a lot of people are going to like. The whole leading them while you're shooting is going to be a thing of the past. Now, this is probably one of the biggest changes of the upcoming patch. Teleporters. Yes, you heard right. Teleporters. Omega has added teleporters to the map. They've kind of expanded the map a bit where the green and gold, I'm sorry, not green buff, the cyan buff and gold buff are on the map. So, you know, that little area when you're in the solo lane and you're fighting the other solo laner for cyan buff, they've expanded that corner to have teleporters, and it teleports you to the duo lane and vice versa. So there are some rules for this teleporter. For example, you can't use it in the first 10 minutes. It's shut off in the first 10 minutes. Not only that, when somebody's using it, apparently there's global vision. So everybody will see when somebody is using the teleporter. Even if you don't have a ward there or anything, it's going to notify you. There's also global sounds, so you'll hear it coming. Not only that, it has a cooldown. Now, this is a detail that they weren't perfectly clear on. At one point, I thought I heard them say it has a cooldown per person. So theoretically, if you use it and you teleport, you're going to have the cooldown, but that might not be accurate. So take that with a grain of salt. It has some kind of cooldown. I don't know if it's per person or just per the teleporter, but there is a cooldown. Now, those are the more game-oriented changes in casual and competitive mode. There are some new updates to Brawl as well. Now you can have 5 of the same character, even 10 of the same character in the same game. So 10 Iggy's in the game, no problem. Any other characters? For sure. I think this change is pretty cool. You know, I would like to see some funny videos of friends, a team of 5 going in as Wraith and them all just stealthing and then sniping one person. It's maybe it's toxic, but hopefully the fun factor outweighs everything else. Additionally, there's some quality of life improvements overall. So, for example, emotes. Now, with the upcoming patch or near future patch, we will have an emote wheel where you can assign various emotes and sprays. Not only that, they're going to implement this new overhead emote. So it's something like you know, some people are going to find it a little bit toxic, but you know, people are basically going to score a kill on somebody else and do an overhead emote and taunt them that way. That's going to become a thing. Not only that, they're going to improve the menu. The whole menu. RGS Ace mentioned he felt like it was depressing, the current menu. I personally like the minimalistic, dark aesthetic, but that's just me. I can understand them wanting to incorporate a new menu. Now, another quality of life change is the AFKers. They are going to be utilizing a new time to flag AFKers. So I believe it's 5 minutes now. So once that happens, there's a few things that occur. They get also more severe punishment. There will be more. I don't have any more details on that, but I'm sure once we get closer to the patch, they'll release all that stuff. Another quality of life change is Amber spending. Amber is the free to play currency. You guys know that doesn't have such a great use. That also has it's going to apply to more stuff like sprays and emotes, and I don't think that they mentioned skins, unfortunately. The two things that they actually just mentioned were sprays, emotes, and overhead emotes. So kind of disappointing. I feel like some of the recolors should be achievable with Amber, but we'll see if they buckle on that in the future. And the last remaining changes that they discussed that I was able to catch was PlayStation users. They're going to eventually have trophies, 120 FPS, and mouse and keyboard use. So all that, those are all the changes I caught from the developer stream. What are your favorite, guys? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what your favorite change was. For me personally, I think I would have to say it is either the teleporters or the river bug evolution. I know the teleporters are a bit controversial, but I do feel like they're going to make the game more fun the same way the explosive flowers did. Everybody hated the explosive flowers at first, but now it's an integral part of the game. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this recap of today's dev stream, and let me know what you thought in the comments. And as always, fight on, friends.